You are not stuck. You're not too old. You're not too young. You're not too late, and you're certainly not too broken. You are not waiting on the world to change. The world is waiting on you to wake up. There is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide it's enough. Enough waiting. Enough hiding. Enough rationalizing a life that does not match the fire inside your chest. The gap between where you are and where you want to be has nothing to do with talent. It's not your circumstances. It's not your boss. It's not your parents. It's not even the economy. It's your excuses. Excuses are elegant little lies you whisper to yourself to make stagnation feel like safety. They are velvet ropes wrapped around your ankles, tied by your own hands, disguised as logic, as reason, as protection. But protection from what? From discomfort? From failure? From becoming so powerful you no longer recognize yourself? Let me be clear, there is no future where excuses and greatness coexist. If you want the life you keep visualizing, if you want to taste the sweetness of real freedom, real achievement, real legacy, then you must incinerate every excuse you've been feeding on like scraps of comfort. Excuses are heavy. Discipline is wings. Every empire ever built, every invention that reshaped humanity, every story that lit up the darkness of despair, was carved not by people who waited for permission, but by people who showed up even when they didn't feel like it. Even when it hurt. Even when no one believed. Even when they were mocked, laughed at, dismissed. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on a wave of motivation. He built it in the trenches of failure, buried under 10,000 prototypes that didn't work. But every day, he showed up. Not because it was easy, but because he had made the decision that his vision mattered more than his excuses. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. He could have accepted that. He could have lived an invisible life. Instead, he disciplined his mind to believe in the invisible, and then built it in the real world, brick by brick, frame by frame, dream by disciplined dream. Abraham Lincoln failed in business. Failed in politics. Faced breakdowns and deep grief. And still, through disciplined, determined resolve, he became the leader who would hold the Union together when everything around him was shattering. You see, there is a pattern. The greats were not born with more. They chose more. They trained more. They bled more in silence. They didn't beg for easier roads. They built stronger backs. Discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. It is the sacred contract you sign with your future self. It is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Between goals and glory. But here's the catch. Discipline doesn't arrive in a lightning bolt. It's not gifted. It is built, one brick at a time, in the small, quiet hours when nobody is watching. It's forged when you get up before the doubt does. When you run the extra mile after your body begs you to stop. When you keep your word, not because it's convenient, but because your character is non-negotiable. It is not dramatic. It is not glamorous. It is not viral. It is steady. It is sacred. And it is yours to claim. The excuses will scream. They will masquerade as fatigue, as logic, as fairness. They'll tell you to rest when you haven't earned it, to slow down when you've barely started, to take shortcuts when the real victory lies in the climb. Don't negotiate with your weakness. Don't hold meetings with your limitations. There is a voice inside of you that knows what must be done. That voice is not loud, because it doesn't have to be. It is rooted, grounded, ancient. It is the same voice that drove the Wright brothers to fly when men were chained to the earth. The same voice that told Carnegie steel could reshape civilization. The same voice that whispered to Oprah when no one else saw her worth. And it's inside of you right now. But you must feed it. You must protect it. You must silence the noise that drowns it. You are not at war with your excuses. You are simply done feeding them. Let the hunger for what you want become louder than the lullaby of your limitations. Let the vision pull you out of bed before the alarm clock does. Let the pain of staying the same become more unbearable than the discomfort of growth. Every single day, you are building something. The question is, are you building your excuses or your excellence? You will never feel like it all the time. But you were not created to be ruled by feeling. You were created to master it. Discipline does not ask how you feel. Discipline reminds you who you are. It is not about intensity. It is about consistency. It is about showing up when motivation has left the room. When the fire inside flickers low, but you still strike the match again. Because the version of you that gets everything you dream of? They're already doing it. They're not wondering if they have time. They're making time. They're not doubting their worth. They're proving it, daily, through sweat, sacrifice, and standards. You don't attract success by wishing. You attract it by becoming worthy of it. By aligning your actions with your ambition. By closing the gap between what you say and what you do. By waking up every day and recommitting to the quiet, disciplined grind that nobody sees, but that eventually, everyone will respect. Let your actions be so disciplined, so consistent, so undeniable, that the world is forced to rewrite the story it told about you. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Let them sleep. You? Build. The world rewards the disciplined, not the dreamers who never move. It crowns those who rise without applause, who do the work without waiting for credit, who walk the path when no one is cheering. Because here's the truth, the discipline you build in private is what earns you the life others will see in public. Not overnight. Not in some viral, grand explosion of luck. But in a quiet, relentless uprising of personal mastery. You rise before the doubt. You stay when others quit. You choose the long game while everyone else looks for shortcuts. That's how dynasties are built. That's how men like Henry Ford turned vision into vehicle. Ford didn't ask for permission to change transportation. He didn't wait for someone to hand him a plan. He disciplined his focus. He became obsessed with simplification. He burned every excuse that said, "It's impossible." And he built it anyway. And when everyone laughed, when everyone mocked, when even his own team said it couldn't be done, he doubled down on discipline. That's how revolutions are born. So let me ask you, what are you doing with your seconds? Because time is not just ticking. It's evaporating. And every excuse you entertain, every delay you justify, is a thief, robbing you of mastery, momentum, and meaning. You don't have time to waste wondering if you're ready. You become ready by moving. By acting. By throwing yourself into the furnace of discipline until you are no longer recognizable to the version of you who used to settle. Discipline is not just about waking up early. It's not just fitness routines or calendar blocks. It's a mindset. It's the decision that no matter what chaos surrounds you, you are anchored. You are grounded. You are driven by something deeper than mood swings or outside noise. It is spiritual. It is sacred. It is war against your lesser self. When Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome, he didn't rely on feelings. He relied on principles. Stoicism was his armor, and discipline was his weapon. Even in grief. Even in war. Even when the weight of an empire rested on his shoulders, he remained still, focused, unwavering. Because discipline isn't about force. It's about surrender. Not to the world, but to a higher standard. A vow that says, "I will not betray the man or woman I am becoming for a moment of comfort." And that vow must be renewed every day. Because the world will tempt you with easy. With now. With average dressed up as good enough. But greatness does not answer to comfort. It bows only to the one who keeps showing up when the spotlight is off, when it's boring, when it's painful, when the outcome is invisible. And here's the secret most won't tell you, discipline breeds freedom. Not just the freedom to do what you want, but the internal freedom to no longer be a slave to distraction, to laziness, to your old programming. When you build discipline, you don't just get results. You become the kind of person who creates results, again and again, regardless of the weather, the odds, or the mood. Your excuses will never hand you the keys to the life you want. Only discipline will. And here's the beauty of it, no one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. It is not inherited. It is forged. You become untouchable the moment you decide that nothing, no excuse, no opinion, no failure, no past, will stop you from rising into the identity you were born to embody. Discipline is how you prove to the universe that you are serious. Not just interested. Not just inspired. Not just talking about it when it's popular. Serious. And when you become serious, doors open. Energy shifts. People move. Because the universe does not reward the hesitant. It rewards the committed. So get clear. What do you want? Not what sounds nice. Not what other people think is respectable. What do you burn for? What wakes you up in the middle of the night? What vision do you keep suppressing because it scares you too much to chase? Now ask yourself, what price are you willing to pay for that life? Because discipline is the down payment. You don't need more inspiration. You don't need more tips, tricks, hacks, or hacks to the hacks. You need a vow. A daily vow that says, "I will not betray my potential for temporary pleasure." That vow, kept over time, will rebuild your nervous system. It will harden your will. It will clear your mind. And slowly, without even realizing it, you will become the kind of person who others admire, but more importantly, the kind of person who finally respects themselves. Because discipline isn't just about doing more. It's about becoming more. And that becoming is uncomfortable, yes. But it is also divine. You were not put here to blend in. You were not created for smallness. You are here to expand. To conquer. To discipline your inner world so powerfully that the external world has no choice but to follow. But none of that starts until you decide, today, right now, to stop lying to yourself. The excuses are done. You've said tomorrow too many times. You've waited for alignment, for motivation, for someone to push you. But it's time to be your own fire. Burn the bridge to the life that's keeping you soft. Burn the lies that say you can't. Burn the comfort that's caging your calling. Burn the excuses, and from the ashes, build the discipline that will raise your destiny from the dust. You want your life to change? Then you must become the architect of that change, not through force, but through fierce consistency. Through the kind of discipline that doesn't scream, but whispers to the soul every day, get up. Move forward. Build again. Not someday. Not when you feel ready. But now. Because life is not waiting for you. It never has. Time is moving. The world is moving. Opportunity is moving. And if you don't move with it, if you stay in the waiting room of your potential, you will wake up one day with more memories of what you could have done than memories of what you actually became. You will stare in the mirror and see a version of yourself that compromised instead of conquered, settled instead of soared. And that, my friend, is the quiet tragedy of the undisciplined life, the slow death of a dream still locked inside a soul that never got serious. But you don't have to live that way. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are standing on the edge of reinvention, and the fire has already been lit inside you. You feel it. You've always felt it, that call to rise. That ache to become. You've heard it in the silence. In the stillness. In the late-night battles between the life you have and the life you know is yours. That voice isn't your imagination. It's your future. Calling. Beckoning. And it's telling you that the only way to get there is through. Through the discomfort. Through the resistance. Through the 1,000 days of effort no one sees. This is the truth they don't teach in schools, but every legend has known. Discipline is divine order. It aligns your actions with your intention. Your identity with your destiny. It is how David became a king with nothing but a stone and faith. It is how Lincoln endured failure after failure and still carried a nation through its darkest hour. It is how Helen Keller, blind and deaf, spoke louder to the world than most of us ever will. Because when you build discipline, you don't just overcome your excuses, you transcend them. You evolve. And evolution hurts. It stretches you. It confronts you. It strips away the layers of weakness you've worn for too long, until all that's left is something forged in fire. Purpose. Conviction. Power. And it all begins with one vow. One moment. One decision to say, I will no longer be at war with my own potential. You want a miracle? Become consistent. You want transformation? Become unshakable. You want peace? Earn it through alignment, not with how you feel, but with who you're becoming. There will be days when you fail. Days when the voice of excuse returns. Let it come. But let your discipline be louder. Let it remind you that champions aren't made on the days they feel like it, they're made on the days they don't. You are here to build a legacy, not a life of leisure. To become a leader, not just a follower of trends. To stand for something, not scroll through everything. And that kind of life? It is paid for with one currency, discipline. So today, not tomorrow, not Monday, not next year, today is the line in the sand. No more apologies for wanting more. No more waiting for the stars to align. No more letting your old self vote on the future you. You've got the blueprint. You've got the breath. You've got the fire. So burn the excuses. And build the discipline. Brick by brick. Day by day. Quietly. Powerfully. Relentlessly. Because the life you want isn't found in a fantasy, it's built with your bare hands. And God help the world when you finally realize, you were always the builder.